Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Today I bring back Michael Hartman. Hey Michael, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. Pretty fresh and relaxed.
Are you fresh and relaxed from being away getting passive income, yeah?
It's not passive
I'm joking.
for sure,
Sure.
but I took some time off of work,
Yeah,
and the business has suffered a little bit. But let's
yeah.
say the mental went way up.
Cool. So let's cover this off, right? So today we're going to be talking about the myth that is passive income on Amazon, because you get all the charlatans flogging these courses, selling you a lifestyle, beach bum, like 4-hour work week and all that bollocks. Let's talk this through, because there is means and ways to have revenue that comes in that is passive, but to call it passive income that's going to kind of last forever, etc., is a complete myth on Amazon. So we were talking about this off call. You know, a lot of people from 2015, sorry, who treated Amazon like a passive income and got burnt. Do you want to walk me through that?
I know a lot of guys from, let's say, 2014, 2013, 2015. They made a lot of money. They went what I call hood rich, and so they bought like Porsches, Mercedes, blah blah blah, and they thought it was going to last forever. And they kind of got lazy with the game. And the people who got lazy with the game, all their businesses went to shit. And so now they went from doing 200,000-300,000 a month down to 20-30K a month. If that, on some cases, the accounts have been completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't keep up, because where they were relaxing, all the other competition was stepping their game up to try and get more market share. And so they suffered a lot. And it just, passive income from the Amazon game doesn't really exist. I mean, so last month on the one Amazon business, like I took like 3 weeks off with the kid. It's my 1 month with the kid every year. And I set my team up for everything to maintain, like to not expand, because expanding and launching that many SKUs, I need to be involved, or maybe I'm micromanaging. I don't know. But the income was down, like, let's say 7%, and so now it's my goal to put it back up.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's only 3 weeks off, no work. Well, let's say not no work, but reduced amount of work.
Yeah.
So
makes sense. I mean, I've got a construction project, right? And I've said this to people before. Like, for me, the industry that in the niche that it's in is dying, right? But it still brings in some nice revenue. So I have someone that runs out on a weekly basis. I know that isn't going to last forever. So what I'm doing is parking my energies elsewhere. If I was driving that myself, the revenues would go back up by 20%. But because I'm not driving it and I have someone employed in the role to do that, that's not their fault. It's just they don't have the same skill sets of me. So what they're doing is they're playing the role as best as they can, but let's, for a better word for it, it's more passive to what I would invest into that as someone who has got more invested interest, if that makes sense. So
no, it makes sense.
So while it's still there, we'll make hay, right? But I don't see that in my long-term view. So what I did was I didn't sit there and think, oh, okay, I'll sit back and have some money come back off that and then go up and do nothing, right? My partner who works on that business, he likes the game of golf. So that's him. He wants to go and play golf when there's not much work on. He'll go out and play golf, and that's his life. He likes that lifestyle. Does that make sense? So he's set a level to where he wants to operate. I want more than that. So that's why I have multiple projects, multiple businesses rolling at any one time, because for me, it's about the game, not about the money, if that makes sense. I love deal making.
You and I are kind of on the same page. I believe in diversification. I've had all my eggs in one basket, and I got burned really hard.
Yep.
So I completely changed that, and I put 20% of all the profit in businesses. I split that between savings and new investments.
Yeah.
So basically 10% of like all the profit goes towards savings, and the other 10% goes towards investments in any number of businesses, any number of things. And just go from there on a monthly basis. I'm trying new things on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
So
no, you have to. You, like, as I said, you've got to make where you can make your cash work. Or sometimes it's good to sit on a bit of cash and make an informed decision. Like you said, like I try and diversify everything. Like I don't have all eggs in one basket. Back in 2010, 11, 12, 13, I was absolutely broke. Personally and business-wise, I pretty much lost everything to a devastating level. And it's taken me years to build things back up. So this is why I don't sit there and go, oh, I'm just going to have that business over there, and then I'm going to go and sit on the beach, because I find that hideous to sit down on the beach and do nothing. I need to be up and running and having people working and having meetings. I love the game. Do you know what I mean? I love the grind. I'm up at 4 o'clock most days. I wake without an alarm set. Like, I think you're a night guy. I'm like a morning person. I'm not sure.
No, normally I'm up every day at like 5 o'clock in the morning, but my time zones are all messed up right now. I slept yesterday till 3 p.m. from the jet lag, and let's just say the shit. And that's the most I slept, I think, since I was a teenager. So, that's it. But yeah, for me, I sometimes, let's say, over diversify. And so what I've tried to do now is to get more into passive income, but passive income by investing in different business entities where I take a partner and I bring cash and they bring the overhead, like something like that. Or I'm investing in stock markets or crypto or different funds or whatever I can get into. I have some real estate I'm looking at again now, because I think that's also, low maintenance for me. Yeah. I do like to go sit on the beach, but the difference is I like to sit on the beach and work.
Yeah.
So to me, there's nothing better than sitting with my laptop.
Exactly.
And, going to surf for 20, 30 minutes and then coming back to work for like 3 hours and then taking a surf break for 20, 30 minutes, then coming back to work and hitting the high tide, low tide type deal. To me, that's like the best thing.
Do you know what?
Thing about Amazon and the passive shit? No way. And so like there are some people who still try to do that, and the people I see still trying to do that are like the scammers selling the courses.
So going back to this whole thing, like, someone starts out, they were back then, say 15, 16, 14, 13, whatever you want to pick, in that gold rush period where everything was a lot easier. I know former clients that we had on the agency, and basically they had products, and what I explained to them is that you've come to the end of your product cycle. And what they were trying to do is they were trying to look at all the different means and ways and hacks to etch out to get more sales on those products. But the fact is, the numbers, everything was going down. So every stat that you looked like, it was a steady decline all the way through. And I said, you're not going to be able to stem the tide or turn the tide or stem the flow. What you need to do is put out some more products, because your cycle's complete now and they're on the way down. So you're not able to really get to a point where you can sell your business any form of profit, really, because anyone looking at will say like, yeah, but you've got a business there. Yes, it's making some money, but it's on a steady decline. It's not going on in the ascent, and that was psychologically, I think that's very difficult to hold on to, because what they end up doing is they try and employ different people in the role. It's like, oh, right, I need a better account manager. I need a better this and a better that. And really what it is like, no, you need to get back in. Stop going to do 4 hours a week so that you can go off and do other stuff. Actually start running your business again. That's the only way you're going to turn it around. I think they did eventually, but they did leave it way too long. And I think that's the common occurrence with the whole passive incomes thing, is that it's almost like you down tools and you do the bare minimum, which is what leads to the problems. And then what happens is you take your eye off the ball. 6, 7, 8 months, a year, 2 years down the line, it's very hard to turn that ship around.
No, I agree with you 100%, man. So once you're on the downcline, it's hard because it affects your cash flow. Cash is king. Cash flow is king in business. And if you don't have capital, you don't have a fucking business. I mean, that's rule number one.
Yeah.
And so it's always important to like keep reinvesting the capital and not to spend it. So like I was telling you before the call, I'm very cheap. And that's true. I put a lot of money away into savings. So, I mean, I put, more money than I probably should away into savings just for that liquid nest egg, because I remember in 2008, I about lost everything from the downturn. Yeah. When the economy went to shit, I went through the roughest period of my fucking life during that time. So I understand you 110%. And so for me, I learned that I was like, oh, the economy's always going to be booming. Everything's always going to be going up. I was naive. And then when that shit hit the fan, I was fucked up. And I was like, all right. So I learned from there that you need to hoard some cash. So that way, if you have a hiccup, you need to have like 6 months of salary, 6 months of expenses put away. And then on top of that, you should also have cash to go to grind up. A friend of mine last year, I'm not going to name names, he had an account suspension. After 2 weeks of that suspension, he was ready to go bankrupt because he couldn't afford his overhead, because he didn't have the cash flow. But he had some fancy cars and some other stuff. So, I mean, where are you spending your money? How are you doing it? I mean, that's very important. It's not passive at all. You know, as soon as you get out of the game, it just goes down. I mean, that's from what I think. Unless you have some patented shit. But even then, I don't think it's, that viable to stay out of the game.
Yeah. So there's like in conclusion here, there is such thing as passive income, but the problem is it doesn't last. It's not an everyday thing. It's not evergreen on Amazon, at least. Obviously, once you get into property and stuff like that, that's a different story, because the labor time, the amount of work that's required in most cases. If I know people who have got numerous properties, like I think you have as well, you have a portfolio, right? Mm-hmm. The maintenance on that is a lot lower than running a normal business, right? And it's something that is, most of it is front loaded. Now you could say the same thing with Amazon, right? You've researched, you launched a product, it's all front loaded. But the problem is the competition can be so fierce. What worked today changes tomorrow. Whereas with property, it's a bit slower, like the laws and the regs and stuff, they all stay the same for longer periods of time. So there's less room for disruption there.
No, that's 100% correct. And also, like, you're not going to get a 800% return in 1 year on a piece of property, but you can get that with Amazon still to this day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just depends on how you're managing shit.
Yeah.
So
the key thing is when anyone is promoting something and they're trying to sell you a lifestyle, sell you a passive income, show you pictures on the beach, don't buy them courses and run a mile, is what you're saying, yeah?
Basically, yeah. I mean, so I would be looking at people who are seriously doing some serious numbers. I would be looking at their background on how many products they launch. And anyone who's selling a course who won't show you their brand, it's full of shit. I mean, that's just my opinion. I would be looking at like Seller Tradecraft. I'd be looking at Brandon Young's course, or like decent courses to go after, because I know those guys. I know they're walking, I'm not getting commission. I know they're doing what they say they do.
Yeah. No, same here. I won't name people, but there are people, clearly you can do your own research and find the right people in the space to go to, get references. Don't just rely on testimonials, like crappy written testimonials with just the first name, ... no picture and all that kind of stuff. You can do your background research, but it's just nice to get this whole thing off the table. I know it's good for the newbies and it's impressionable and it's a good way of selling courses and stuff, but you've got the churn rate as well, haven't you? Like there's a higher turnover. I was having a chat the other day about someone who do events in the UK. I do Seller Sessions Live. He does his events. And he was saying that he's concerned that only 50% of those people or so return. I said, because Amazon does have a high turnover, or people go and source their first product out the game. It's got a huge, huge churn rate, and that's natural. But that's without all the scammy courses promising you a lifestyle on the beach and stuff. So.
Well, let's be honest. Well, 95% of all businesses fail in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? 90% of Amazon businesses fail in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
So you have, let's say that the opportunity on Amazon is still 2x a normal business, but you still have a 9 out of 10 chance of failing, at least on your first product, right? So if you launch 10 products, theoretically, one should work.
Yeah.
So let's put it that way.
Cool. Well, let's leave that there. What's the best way that people can reach you?
They can contact me at michael@innoventic.com, INNOVENTIC.com.
Sounds good. Guys, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you again in the next few days. Take care.